Welcome back. The federal government has announced its decision to stop the payment of subsidy on premium motor spirit petrol come 2022, saying it could no longer afford to fund the scheme. Over the years, subsidies have exerted huge cost on the country. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, estimates that the annual amount spent on subsidy is 3 trillion naira, which she says is no longer sustainable for the government. Now, what this means is that when the subsidy is removed, the cost of petrol will likely go above 300 naira per litre rather than the current subsidized amount of 162 naira we pay for the product at the moment. Now, the implication of this is that the cost of travel may likely double, inflation may likely spike, goods and services too may actually become expensive, and of course businesses would have to adjust to the new fuel pump price. Now, while some stakeholders have lauded the federal government's move, the Nigeria Labour Congress says it is not going to accept it and that it will kick against it, insisting that the policy will impose more hardship on Nigerians. To ease the citizens' transition to post-subsidy life, the government says plans are in place to pay a monthly 5,000 naira transport stipend to the nation's most vulnerable citizens for a specified period, not more than 12 months, before other cushioning measures will also take effect. Let's now take a listen to the Minister of Finance explain the policy further.
The subsidy cost to the Federation was 243 billion. So if you look at a cost of about 250 billion per month, and it has been increasing consistently, so we got something like, we're expecting something like 120 billion per month from NNPC. Now we're getting to a point when NNPC is remitting near zero. And if we don't stop, we'll get to a point when they'll be giving us a bill to say you have to actually pay me this for managing the fuel provision in the country. So if you take 250 billion times 12 months, that is about 3 trillion naira. If we don't remove that, that is what is costing us. This is money that we can use to apply to health and to education. The intervention we want to provide, so we said between 20 to 40 million people, and there's still a lot of work going on within a committee that is chaired by His Excellency the Vice President, with the states as members and a few of us ministers as members. So we have to have a landing as to the exact number, between 20 to 40. We already agreed it will be 5,000 naira. And we also agreed that the remittances have to be done digitally. So the e-naira will help, but also so the various payment platforms that are currently available. What we will not do is paying people in cash. So it will be transfers that people will receive through one kind of electronic money or the other. And it's meant to be for a period of 6, 9, or 12 months.
Well, that was the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning explaining the policy that the government is considering to, impose as soon as the subsidy regime, the subsidy now is actually removed. Joining me to speak further on this is Ogbonna Ekuku, who is an investment promotion and economic development consultant. He joins us via Skype from Abuja. Thank you very much, Ekuku, for joining us on the program. You've listened to the minister. You heard the explanation of how, for instance, the 5,000 naira will be paid over a specified period of time and all of that. What do you make of that plan?
Yeah, like you said, also is they're still discussing, and that money is going to come out from FAC. So all stakeholders will sit down and actually look at it properly and see how they can make use of these resources that belongs to the federal, the state, and the local government to help support the economy, or help with the most vulnerable people in the society. Now, it still works on the table. I mean, the vice president is chairing the committee and other stakeholders. They would still look at this, because for me, it's beyond the money being distributed. I think we should be a bit more strategic when it comes to spending some of these funds, because I mean, if you distribute funds, how will that support the the farmers, how would that support, the movement of goods and services, which will actually, these are the things we need to focus on right now to make sure we don't have high inflation in Nigeria when it comes to our goods and services. So for me, like she said, they are still working. So the work probably would, they need to consult more they need to consult more when it has to do with experts who understand logistics, those who've been able to do indexing on priority sectors that actually need, some of these funds, or where we need to invest these funds so that it can actually still affect positively on those very vulnerable people in our society without handing over cash, handing cash or transferring funds to them. These are things that can actually strategically look into.
Now, but coming to the issue of the removal of the subsidy itself, I mean, you've had the position of Labour, and Labour has always been consistent that, look, removal of subsidy is going to impose hardship on Nigerians. And of course, some analysts too have also explained that, look, the moment this subsidy is taken away, we should prepare to see inflation go up further. We should prepare to see, for instance, the cost of things basically double, at least, at the initial stage, in the short to medium term, maybe. And so how do you think the government can deal with these issues, and especially convince Labour to accept the removal of this subsidy?
Yeah. I like to see, I like to look at this from a very different perspective. Anybody that does not see the present reality of our country, knowing that we cannot continue to pay subsidy on a depleting commodity, or sorry, depleting resources that we have in our country. For what? To make sure that people are not put on edge, or yes, we understand, hardship is going to propel hardship, but what is the present reality? Can we really afford it? Of course we can't. If you pay out 3 trillion naira to just on fuel subsidy alone, just one commodity. Now, what happens to other things? Everything comes together. The economy is a function of different, sphere of human endeavor. So if you focus on one, and then Labour sits down and says, okay, don't remove it. Okay, what is the alternative if you don't remove it? And again, I also see Labour sometimes as, like the ancient African culture that will always hammer on, that will always, blame a woman for not having a male child, penalize her, persecute her for not having a male child. And when you look at it biologically, it is the man who brings the sperm that is required for you to, the chromosome that you need to make a male child. Now, who have been running some of these refineries? Who are they not members of NLC? Are politicians the one who run these enterprises? Now, I am still waiting in the history of this nation to see a day that NLC will go on strike because one of their members, who actually is heading one organization or the other, wanted to do the right thing, and the politicians say no, don't do the right thing. And then all Labour with all their confederacy, their togetherness can now go on strike based on such things. We're still on that level where we're still talking about how we get fed, what amount of money comes to me, how much I'm being paid, minimum wage. Can we go on strike for productivity? No, for me, it's becoming an issue that are we going to stay on this lane for how long? On this freeway where we cannot just come out of this? Yes, it's going to hurt. But can we use China as an example? China decided to suffer. People in China used to wear uniform at a particular time in this world. And today, China has become what it has become. So if we need to take this decision, now it also means everybody will be affected. Now our focus will now come back on how to build this country and make this nation work. Because whether we like it or it's our nation, we don't have any other place to go to. So I think we need to look at this thing, and then Labour should stop taking the position that they take. Let them come up with an alternative.
Ogonakuku, thank you very much for joining us on the program and for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate it. Well, we'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back. Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal. How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.